Greetings, Pathfinders. I wanted to just bring you a quick unscripted video. Already I'm messing it up. Unscripted video. I'm gonna leave that in just because it's funny. You all get to hear unscripted now. Just a quick unscripted video giving you a little update. There's not going to be a scripted video this week. It's supposed to be about Corvosa. That's what's going to be coming. However, in scripting, I found out that there is a lot more that I need to cover both in the city and a couple of things that I'm going to need to cover before I actually begin the next big project. That's the fun thing about Pathfinder lore, and the fun thing about this project in general, is that I get to do deep dive research onto stuff and find out things that I never really knew before, and then get to share that all with all of you. So, as should be obvious to anybody who knows the lore, or is just kind of, looking at what I did previously and thinking, well, what could her next big project be? It's gonna be Curse of the Crimson Throne, the very next adventure path. However, in researching both Corvosa and stuff I was gonna do for Curse of the Crimson Throne, I've kind of had to expand a little bit in terms of what I'm gonna do for scope. So the original plan was to do this video on Corvosa, then I was going to do another video on Harrow and Harrow decks and harrowing, because I feel like that's thematically appropriate to what happens in Curse of the Crimson Throne. And then after that, I was planning on diving directly into Curse of the Crimson Throne, but a couple of things have kind of stuck in my mind. The biggest one is that there's a reveal about Corvosa that kind of plays into Crimson Throne, and the adventure itself was actually published about, I think, 3 years later than Crimson Throne was, but technically takes place before it. Which kind of throws me off, because most of the time the assumption is that the adventures take place the year they're published, so Paizo did a sneaky wiki with me. I feel like I do need to cover that adventure, and so I think I'm going to slightly expand what's going to happen prior to Curse of the Crimson Throne. Ideally, next week I will put out the Corvosa video, followed by the Harrow video, then a video about this adventure, and then the prelude to Crimson Throne, followed by Crimson Throne Part 1. After Crimson Throne, I think I'm going to cover the miscellaneous module-type adventures that occurred during, year one. So this is mostly going to be stuff like Crown of the Kobold King, which is going to present its own set of challenges, because there's, two versions of it. The original 3.5 module, and then a updated 2nd edition version that sort of ties everything together as more of a story, and I kind of want to figure out how much I want to include of the previous version. I need to do a kind of compare and contrast between them. Because I didn't really do that for Rune Lords, and I'm not going to do that for Crimson Throne, and so I don't know if I'm going to necessarily want to do that this time either. Part of it is just kind of keeping the mystique up if you want to play that version of the adventure. Beyond that, just a couple of miscellaneous things. I still am streaming on Twitch with Runia as many Fridays as we can manage. Maybe not necessarily every Friday, because it depends on whether our schedules both line up and we have stuff to do. And then I also occasionally stream on my own Twitch channel, twitch.tv/dnagab. I recently made affiliate over there, so that means the streams would now start having ads on them. I'm a little apprehensive about that. I kind of like the idea of people just being able to come in and not have to worry about ads, but we'll see how things go. I don't stream very regularly. The last time I did, it was just a random night thing. I might see again about trying to stream writing more. I don't know. Maybe I'll stream, the Crimson Throne research process. Who knows? The other thing is the Patreon for the channel. I took it down a while ago, like a month and a half or so. To get a little real with you all, I was not having the best December, nor was I having the best January, prior to now, or the best November last year, and I'm not predicting the greatest for February if we're all looking to be honest here, but it is what it is. I have decided that between having it and not having it, I would rather kind of slightly bring it back in an adjusted format. I have removed any of the higher tiers. There's no tier support above $5 now, and I've removed the day early access bit to the videos. That, more than anything, was driving my stress level about the Patreon, because I had to get a video done effectively one day early, because I always wanted to release them on Friday at noon, which meant I had to get the video done before Thursday at noon, which meant it just kind of put a lot of stress on me, and it basically eliminated Thursday as a work day for videos in my brain. I know that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but I have a fucked up ADHD brain, so sometimes it just does stupid decisions like that. And so I have decided instead that it's just going to be a $1 support tier and a $5 credits tier. If you were previously subscribed at $5 prior to the quote-unquote relaunch of the Patreon, I'm just going to keep you there. This is 100% laziness on my part to not update the credits screen. I don't really expect anyone to sub to the Patreon. Again, you know this by this point. You watched a YouTube video. You know how YouTubers and Patreon and all this shit work now. And so I always kind of hate pushing it, because it's like, you know that the Patreon is there. You know how Patreon works. You know that if you had the spare dollar and wanted to give it, you could. Me reminding you, hey, give me $1. I don't feel like that really actually helps much of anything, personally, other than kind of like annoying people, and I don't want to do that. But that's my personal hang-up. I figure I'll keep it up, and it won't have as much of like a promise, so it can't feel as much like I'm failing people. If you want to give money, it's there. If you don't, no pressure, it's fine. Times are tough everywhere, and you don't need to be supporting me at the expense of yourself. And because I do have people who were technically still subscribed when I unlaunched the Patreon last time, I am using this as like my 1 week notice. It's going to come up, well, actually it's more of like a 2 week notice. I think I'm going to put it up because I believe Friday the 13th is coming up. And because I love omens and ominous bullshit, I'm going to return the Patreon to active status that day. So February 13th is your notice. If you were subscribed and you are just so strapped for cash you can't even afford $5, that would be kind of your cue. I don't unfortunately know entirely how Patreon's like reactivation works. If somebody actually knows in the comments like when it gets charged for that, let me know. If you are if you were a member of the Patreon and you can't afford the $5 charge and you need me to like go in there and like forcibly remove you before I relaunch it, just let me know and I will. Again, I understand. Money is tight everywhere for everyone right now. Everything is kind of a shit show right now. If you can't afford it, I don't want it. And that's everything that I had to talk about in this little rambly update for you all. I hope to get the Corvosa video out by next week. Again, that thing has ballooned in scope a little bit. I am not even into like actually analyzing the city yet. I'm still talking about its history in the script, and I'm at like page 8. And so it's gonna be an interesting one. But I'm really enjoying what I'm looking into with this city and what I'm hoping to share with all of you. So I will see you all next week with the video about Corvosa. Then again, after that, it'll be the harrowing video. Then we'll be covering an adventure from later on in Pathfinder's lifetime, followed by the beginning of our coverage for Curse of the Crimson Throne. So I always like to end these little videos on a goofy little call to action. And so what I would like you to do for me, Pathfinders, as we end this video, is I want you to go into your refrigerator, and I want you to find the item that is on the right of your fridge, middle shelf. If you have shelves, middle shelf, rightmost one. And I want you to move it over to the left. Just all the way over to the left. Just totally switch sides. Bonus points if you have roommates and the thing is always on the right, and just switching it to the left really messes with them. That's all I have for you. Thank you very much for watching, Pathfinders. Until next time, explore, report, and cooperate.